Hello, everyone. Can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me. Um, yep. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. We're gonna start in a bit, so we're just gonna be waiting for our other speakers. Let me know if there's, yeah. If I think we have here, Victor. Victor, can you say hi with us?
Hey everyone.
Hi there. Yeah. Nice. We're just gonna wait for Becca. I'm not sure if Becca is here, but we will start in a bit for that. Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess we can start probably like just a little bit chit chat before we proceed to our question and answer portion with our speakers. Maybe anyone here familiar with AI agents? Maybe can type in like anyone have heard it before. Saw it Twitter or anywhere. Anyone here familiar with AI agent? Maybe can type in. I'm just checking if you guys have heard this. I guess this has been, very quite popular right now. Especially now, if you see it on X, there's a lot of like viral AI agents, like for example, AIXBT. I saw like Eliza as well. Um, yeah, maybe you could share more about like what sort of AI agents are you guys following right now? Honestly, this has been very interesting. Okay, wow. Becca is here. Maybe we could start. So yeah, so I think our focus right now is on AI. I think this will be the first time on OpenGuild to have a community call focusing on AI. We've seen a lot of like trending topics about meme coins. We've seen a lot of like amazing stuff around um in general about AI agents. And of course, in this call, we're going to be, seeing like in the last 2 months, AI agents have gained a lot of like traction in the crypto ecosystem. With, if you guys heard about True Terminal and a lot of like accelerated innovations around like AI agents able to like order on chain, order their pizza. You also see a lot of like meme coins, um, quite popular in a different DEX exchange right now, and we've seen also different activities on chain for autonomous agents. So maybe we would like to introduce our two speakers here. Maybe we could start with Becca. Becca, can you hear us? Yep. Yeah. So we would love to meet our speakers. Maybe introduce yourself. Like, what do you guys do in Polkadot ecosystem? Like, is there anything interesting that you guys are working on? Definitely, you would love to hear. Or maybe we could start with Victor. Victor, can you hear us?
Yeah, sure thing, sure thing. So my name is Victor. I'm handling DevRel for Bifrost at the moment. As you know, if you in the Polkadot ecosystem, Bifrost is the liquid staking protocol, liquid staking parachain in Polkadot, and we handle like unmute. Yeah, that's an issue with Discord. Okay, um, needs to she needs to get the speaker right or something. Need someone to help her. Anyway, so what's that? So yes, on the Bifrost side regarding AI, we are super interested on the DeFi vertical of AI. So DeFi, you know, they pronounce the same. but DeFi FAI, right? So yeah, very super interested on that. I have a bunch of opinions on it, including contrarian opinions. So we'd love to kind of bring everyone over, on the journey to kind of like discuss more as a community on that front.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I think since Beck is still, fixing it as well, maybe we can focus on you, Victor, is asking more questions. Like I've heard that you guys are, working on some cool projects around AI. Like maybe you could share like why it's interesting to build AI agents on Polkadot. I know we've heard a lot of like things on other chains. We've seen Base, right, building a lot of AI agents. I don't know, even Solana and other chains as well. But maybe you could share why Polkadot is a good place to start, building AI agents as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So to be honest, like AI agents is like is a superpower when it comes to improving UX for the users. And if you've been in Polkadot for enough time, you probably see that Polkadot does have an issues with UX. Right, we have a lot of things that we haven't been addressed, which is lots of the thing that OpenGuild is doing is improving access, improving UX, and helping to onboard more people into Polkadot, and which is something that I believe AI agents overall can really aid into the effort. So that's one, especially in the vertical of DeFi, because we need to improve our DeFi TVL. We always need, because I believe personally, not only because I work for Bifrost, but also because I personally believe DeFi is like the core of an ecosystem, right? You see the same thing on Base, see the same thing on Solana. Is you have a robust trading system, robust tokenization system, robust liquidity. It allows tons of use cases to flourish, which is what AI agents can also can really aid into the onboarding process to help improving liquidity in general. And we do, we help builders building like AI agents. I personally work with OpenGuild on DevRel agents to help to help more builders. I explore myself with a lot of different verticals and so on, different toolkits, SDK, and so on. Yeah, but I want to leave the stage and let someone else chime in onto their experience as well. So I want to
Cool.
start.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. I love that you focus on DeFi, right? I think there's a lot of like potential for AI agents on DeFi. But yeah, great to hear with Becca. Maybe you could introduce yourself and what do you do right now with I've heard a lot of like Polkadot Africa and now also your ambassador from Phala Network. So maybe you could share your interesting experience and all.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Yes, my name is Becca, and I am the lead developer for Polkadot Africa and also an ambassador for Phala Network. And so, like speaking about AI, because what I do for Polkadot Africa is, mostly focused on Polkadot. And but for Phala Network is like one of the forefronts of, cryptographic computing. So what they do is they more like handle the processing and uh, uh how do I explain it? Encrypting. Yes, that's the word, encrypting your your apps using TEE, which is a trustless execution environment. And so how this works is you can write code, build your project and then Dockerize it. So you would deploy your project in a Docker environment and it would be deployed onto these TEE environments. And then, you get all these good security, best practices and all that. And of course, you have access to great CPU and you can also have access to all these AI agents, which is all these AI platforms rather, which is from ChatGPT or maybe was this one from Claude? Yes, Claude. You can use Claude. You can you have access. You can also have access to all these APIs. Of course, those are different services, and you get like TEE abstraction. So instead of you creating your own environment for encryption and safety, you get all this abstraction. And the reason why we use TEEs instead of ZKs is because TEEs are much cheaper and it is just better and easier for you. than using like ZKs. So there's like a saying, like some people say like TEEs are for the poor and ZKs are for the rich. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. I love that you highlighted security and, of course, the data, and including GPU, right? I know that AI agents is quite, takes a lot of like GPUs to train on, or like, of course, when you use APIs. But maybe, I guess this is for both of you. I guess we touched upon on security. Like, what do you think about, Polkadot's advantage in terms of like building your AI agents on, in a secure environment where, especially your data, right? So maybe we could start with Victor. I would love to know like how Bitfirst is, working on this stuff as well. Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to Polkadot, I think the Jam one is probably the one that I'm interested in. So I believe so. Recently, there's this discussion on X regarding Polkadot Jam architecture, and Jam architecture kind of move away from the block architecture, similar to other blockchain, but it focuses more on computation, which is which will allow long running processes to be all like massive like massive quote unquote operations to be run on chain. So theoretically, I think there will be a lot of advancement when it comes to running the AI agent itself on chain rather than like using a T. I used to work on Intel SGX, so which is why I sent a message inside the group chat. I used to work on Intel SGX in the capacity, so I used to work with this on ramp, and we work a lot with Fireblocks regarding the TE setup. And then I went through the whole rabbit hole of figuring out like what is Intel SGX and what is their Intel SGX is a T. Is the proprietary to Intel, and it's a way that this is used to run very secure code, especially like signature operations. So then I have mixed opinions when it comes to T, mostly because it's proprietary in a sense that it's like trusted, right? But to be honest, I have an ethos in crypto is like you don't trust, but you verify. So, which is the reason why I more or less still I think T is a great middle ground at the moment, right? But then in long term, I do believe fully on chain is the way to go. I'm a little bit maxi on that front. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is like a one advantage of Pocket also. Like we really highlight security, right? That's very one, thing that every project's always, you know, think about. And I think you mentioned the jam itself. I think that's one of good, I guess, tech release of I think Polkadot, talking about like Jam itself. But yeah, going back to Becca, I know that he's really sharing about like I've heard a lot of like Zamas, FHE and ZKs. Maybe you could share as like how T or Phala Network general like apply security, especially with the data. I think this is like a one thing right now in terms of on chain and even off chain as well. Yeah.
Yes, this is a good question. And so how it works is they're basically trying to like abstract the whole TEE layer from developers. So you do not need to, have your own TEE set up and do all those parts. All you just need to do is just, if you have your LLM ready, you just create your LLM and then you host it on top of the Phala networks layer. So that so this layer is of course powered by NVIDIA's H100 or H200, and they were using Intel SGX before, but now they use Intel H100 and H200 GPUs, and they also use the Intel CPUs, but it's for TDX support, and TDX is TDX is trusted development. Sorry, I just forgot it right now because there's so many, so many, what's it called? So many acronyms. But yeah, it's something with the trusted development execution. And so this is what is used for different things. So you have the T's and then you have the TDX, and these two things work hand in hand. So Phala Network tries to abstract all these whole parts and just focuses on deploying containers for developers. So you do not really need to know much about deploying, or I mean much about creating your own containers. All you just need to do is focus on building your project, uh benchmarking, checking this performance and speed, and of course having great security and great dev experience using Docker. So that's why they decided to take the Web 2 approach, which most people are used, most devs are currently used to, which is deploying projects using Docker.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, definitely. I love that you mentioned about security, and of course one of the things that I also saw a lot on X, like agents having their own wallets. So basically they can send money to another agent, or like send money to another person's wallet. I feel like that's one thing that we see a lot with AI agents. I think when we think about like autonomous agents, sometimes we call it basically like I guess the situation is that we can call them autonomous if they can handle financial transactions already, I mean, without human intervention. But right now I think there's a lot of like opportunities in terms of AI agents and Polkadot. I think both of our speaker mentioned about the UX, how we also cater our DeFi projects as well and all. I think one thing that I have in mind, like, what do you guys see about AI agents becoming part of like a daily experience for all developers? I know, like, as a developer, right, we use a lot of like AI tools. Or is there anyone here using any AI tools in their coding experience? Maybe what do you think about like how would AI agents can improve developers' journey? Especially in Polkadot, as well as we are, very promoting the open source right now. So maybe Victor can share about like your experience in terms like using AI in your development, or how do you see it becoming as part of your daily daily life as well? Yeah.
Yeah, recently share a post on X regarding what I see the role of AI when it comes to developer relations. I don't think it. I think right now people are experimenting a lot with it, but I think a lot of the things that people are experimenting with AI agent has been okay. The normal stuff, the AI coding and stuff. Obviously, I'm almost pretty sure all developers in OpenGuild, including a large part of global developers, they're already using AI daily because it's just so convenient on turning out code, or like just boring documentations, commenting, or just checking, doing the boilerplate, scaffolding, all that kind of stuff, right? They usually suck at creative coding, but most of the boring stuff they're pretty good at. So what I think of what AI can really contribute when it comes to developer relations, I think is two things: is community engagement. Think about some agent that can handle a tons of amount of, let's say like like answering questions. I feel like us human DevRel, we live on, we have to sleep, we have to eat, we have tons of things to do, and I believe that most questions probably can be answered by AI faster anytime, globally, any time zone, and leaving the humans to do more human things, right? For example, inspiring developers to really participate in the ecosystem, right? Building that tight knit feeling that you belong somewhere, rather than like spending most of the time doing more boring things like writing documentation and so on. I think that's something that AI will excel super good at. Is writing docs, answering questions immediately. Like anyone has questions, just ask AI. It will have the answer immediately rather than have to wait for the DevRel to do anything. And leaving us humans to focus on really pushing the boundary of what's possible when it comes to coding, technology wise and stuff, and let AI to handle those things, especially on a small grant as well. Recently, I've been trying to do this whole letting AI to process small grant. Let's say the grant is less than a certain amount of money. AI can process it way faster than humans, especially small amount. Let's say $100 for like a small task, for example. AI would easily, go through the code base and assign like, hey, I give you $100 for doing this. If you let a human do that, it will cost way more, salary and time loss and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I like that you mentioned that, AI can do the mundane tasks like, creating documentations. But of course, it's still on the coding. We need developers to do it sometimes because it really sucks on, generating codes. Yeah, I think maybe we could ask also Becca, like as a, developer, how do you see AI becoming part of your daily job as well? Yeah.
Yeah, like just to add to what Victor mentioned, you know, having AI generates documentation based off of your code. So, you have your, because I'm just thinking in terms of Rust, Rust has a way of creating the methods for different um structs, so AI can actually generate different, and I think it's already possible already. People already have this platform possible, something like Stop XT, but then you could also improve this using AI, and where every update is being generated automatically. So this way developers do not have to um bother about updating. They just have to just focus on creativity with the code and the project. Another thing is this one is for users. So people who have like busy days, they could have like an AI PA. So someone who that is an agent that could actually schedule calls, meetings based off of their tasks that they have for the day. And also, shopping, because I think I've even seen that already on X. Someone, did a whole project using AI agents, and this could actually shop for you. And, there are other tons of things that we haven't even, thought about yet.
Yeah, yeah. I agree actually. I sometimes when I use X, there were comments that I know it's an AI agent. So there were days like I do notice a lot of like AI agents, chatting on threads, and it keeps on replying each other's like I don't know. I don't know if it stops, but yeah, I think what I see with AI agents right now, we can see even on marketing side, it helps us to do the documentation, which is something like a lot of developers really kind of need, when starting out something. Another thing that I saw a lot is like GPUs, right? I think when we are thinking about, building these AI agents, GPU is like one of the usual problem, right? And how do you see this in Polkadot, like how we can, give more GPU for developers to try and build something? Because I feel like that's one of the roadblocks when building one. And second is like, how do we see like, Web two LLMs or the large language models that we know here can be integrated with Polkadot and all. Maybe we can start with Victor. Yeah.
Can you articulate that question? Because I feel like it's such a big question. Can you kind of like narrow it down?
Oh yeah, yeah. No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think the one question here is like right now the roadblocks for some of the developers is having access to GPU, the computing. So how do you think, in WebT we can solve that problem for them? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem that I'm pretty sure OpenAI would have the same problem.
Yeah, yeah.
It's something probably way I thought about like, like the whole dipin movement where it's like, oh, if you have a GPU you can, essentially lend it out to people or you rent it out to people. Yeah, but I don't know how effective that would be, to be honest. So, because if you look at it like there used to be a tons of they've been project on Solana, especially trying to do that, and they all just kind of went flat. Like right now, there's only like a few is actually stand like stand their ground at the moment. Um, yeah, like like breakthrough in GPU is also getting pushed. The boundaries are super, like and like Nvidia keep rolling out like new like new things. So to be honest, like I don't know. Like I'm being very honest, in this call, like, I have no clue because the space is moving so fast that even if you say there's a solution today, there might be a better one tomorrow already. So it's inconclusive, at least in my opinion, at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Actually, even me, I don't know how to, open up more GPU for the rest because, that would be hard. But maybe we could ask Becca, like, how do you see with this problems and GPUs for AI agents as well? Hi, Becca. Can you hear us?
Sorry, yeah, I
No
kind
worries,
of
no
missed it
worries.
for like a few seconds. Can you repeat the question, please?
No worries, no worries. I think my question is like, how do you think we can solve, problem in GPU? Because that's also one roadblock when you're building AI agents right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so what Pala does right now is your nodes, the nodes that are being deployed on Pala Network, these nodes are also, used for the blockchain. So it's kind of like a decentralized computing. So that's something that that could be useful for for the blockchain ecosystem. And I mean, that's what even Polkadot does already. It already has like, all these nodes. So if it's possible, I mean, I think it's possible that they could use some of these nodes, specialized for, AI computing, TE computing, all these things, and, offer GPUs, for rent or for lease or, for projects who would want to build, specialized projects like, AI agents, LLMs on Polkadot. This is something that would be helpful. And I think Jam already, with the help of Jam already would bring this to life because Jam is like, it's going to be like this huge, supercomputer for different types of computation.
I
Yeah,
actually
cool.
have I actually have one contrarian take here. Is do we need to bring all kinds of AI computation on chain? That's my contrarian take. Just like normally in blockchain transaction, you want to optimize for certain kind of transactions or certain logics of your business to go on chain, but the rest you don't care. Very similarly in AI, that's what I think. There are things absolutely needs to have that decentralization and uh, verifications, trust, absolute verifications and transparency and what blockchain is good at, right? On-chain computation and so on. But what if you don't need that? What if there's a lot of stuff that you don't need that? Then you just run it wherever you can find GPU, right? Locally in your own computer, for example.
Yeah, I think that that's something like a deep end thing that already. Yeah. But yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
question. Like
yeah,
if
it's
you
kind of like
like,
a
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a deeping thing. And also, I mean, AI, I mean, LLMs are huge. They have huge databases. So you really cannot even restrict how much space or, tell how much space they're going to take because it's a lot of information that they're going to be processing. And so this is one of the problems that this is one of like biggest arguments that people have been talking about. Should LLMs be on the chain, or should they be processed on the chain and then let the data be off chain? So this is like something very interesting. And I mean, I'm still watching how the space is going to be, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think we've been discussing about Jam. So for the rest of people here, so basically this Jam has been introduced when I went to the Sub Zero on Thailand. I think last year. So basically Jam is like a supercomputer, but with in Web3. So it's quite like a good one because for those building decentralized applications, this is one thing that you wanted to do, like how do we make things more better in terms of becoming trustless and all. So yeah, I think we were talking about GPU, but do you guys see that we're now near with AGI? I feel like this has been talk on X. Like, are we there yet, or do you see it still far? I know this is gonna be a quite complicated question, but maybe we could start to Victor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think AGI is still very far. So the way I think about AGIs is I think AGI should be mimicking human, for example. Like recently, okay, I think a lot of you have seen demo where people are using AI agent to do opening LP positions, doing engaging in DeFi activities, and doing in an automated way. I think those has been done for forever. I've been automated like trading on chain and off chain with just scripts, right? This has been done like to death. Like sentiments analysis has been around for so long, you don't even need AI agent for it. But what I 100% believe AI agent is really good at is if AI agent can mimic human and being able to get the conviction of humans, like say for example, I'm bullish on on Polkadot, right? Instead of having a cold calculated like, oh, I don't care about what what chain it is, I just want to maximize profit. What if you have conviction? And that's what I think AI is the most, yeah, is easiest to translate to the word to be more humans. I think AI should be more human rather than be less human. That's what, at least that's what I think. Because if they just do like automated stuff, then yeah, I think script is way more efficient. I can, because AI is way slower than script. I can easily with if else statement, I can program a way for me to LP really efficiently. Anyway, so AGI I think is very far away because I see the stuff that's being done right now with OpenAI and Cloud and all the stuff they're rolling out is nowhere near AGI. It's more or less it's like it has some level of reasoning, and but it's more of like it's still spitting out stuff. It's like regurgitating what it has input in without, I don't think it rationalizing and build up new knowledge. It's more of like it's still kind of guessing much more efficiently. And with the new model like O3 Pro and so on, apparently it's more rational, which means if you give it like a multiple choices of things that they're supposed to do, it is more rational on how to decide what it should do. So more reasoning, but it's not like it's not human yet. And I think we are still far, but you is kind of near because how fast the space is moving. So it's far. And I'm thinking like years, right? Not like centuries. Not
Yeah,
even
yeah,
like decades, right? Not even like decades. I'm
yeah.
thinking years. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good point. Like I feel like we're still on the era where we use AI to generate images and videos, not doing other stuff. So I mean, when the old AI came in, right, it's still been, similar process like creating images and all. We just improve it, right? So somehow maybe we could see it maybe in the next few years. But let's ask Becca what's her thoughts about it. Yeah.
Yeah, like for AGI right now, it's still theoretical. I mean, it's still theoretical because to be able to process human ability, you also need emotions, which I'm not sure if we have AI with emotions right now. I mean, they can try to mimic it, but will it be almost the same? That's a problem there. And of course, they can just be, you can transfer knowledge, you can transfer skills, you can transfer decision making. But then, in the case of, complex systems, when it gets complex and then probably, they start thinking that, okay, we can use AGI to replace lawyers. And then, they become more, what's it called now? More, strict, and they don't, they don't really value human emotions. So this can be a problem, you know, for that regard. But then AGI is great for making logical reasoning. So for instance, trading, you know, prediction markets, development and research, of course, and maybe even medicine.
Yeah, 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 definitely. I think AGI is still far, to be honest, because right now a lot of like I saw like OpenAI's tweet, like Sam Altman tweeted about he needs more GPU. And I feel like if you wanted to go to AGI, there should be lots of GPUs out there to even train their LLMs because right now I'm seeing like DeepSeek like having I think it's like a 600 billion or I think million parameters. And for sure they have their own, GPUs and like other companies doesn't have. So I feel like we need more to do this so we can achieve AGI. And yeah, I agree with what our speakers also mentioned that we might expect some little signs of advancement to it because of how fast paced everything is, but we're still gonna take years for us to see that because agents right now are very goal driven. So we still need it's still needing or um inputs, especially how they operate. So, for example, I saw like lots of agents where there's like a terminal where people can see how it searches internet, how it searches X accounts, how they kind of like read tweets of like big personality, and some of it still has into like they need some goals to do it for them. So I think that's the point with AI agents. They're very goal driven. So they really have to put more task, or I don't know, just breakdown of what you need to do. So maybe like as last question, what do you guys say for people like learning about AI agents, or like somehow kind of like still curious or like afraid of learning it, like because maybe some people might think they're gonna replaced by these AI agents. Maybe you could share your thoughts for them. Let's start with Becca.
Okay, can you repeat the question? Because I'm kind of confused on what the question was.
Oh yeah, sure, sure, no worries. I think right now I think a lot of people are still learning about AI agents. Maybe what do you think about, as people learning about it, what you should, advise to them? Like for example, when we talk about AI agents, some people think it's going to replace them. So what's your message for all those people who think about that? Yeah.
Yes, this is actually a very good question. So I would say that you should, of course, have some programming language concepts. Learn the whole programming language concept. It doesn't really. I don't really want to mention a particular language, but having that concept there is very important. And right now, we have so much APIs out there which are ready to plug. So I mean, you can have your front end. This is for developers. This is a method. This is just advice for developers. So you can have your front end ready, and all your front end skills ready to plug and play with all these APIs. But then for people who are scared about AI agents replacing them, I would say is look at, if you can focus on human professions that require emotions. So for instance, DevRels, DevRels are, they always go with the trend of developers and feedback, and always have this feedback back to back. So response feedback, and of course you have other people who host spaces, speaking, teaching, all these things. They require human emotions so that, so that humans can connect, or, make some kind of connections to learn. Of course, people still have some arguments about this, that, AI might be able to teach better. But then, it's all about, looking for other skills that requires creation. So AI currently only, I mean, mostly consumes information, and then produces information. But humans can actually create something out of nothing, right? So this is very, very important that we all have. And if you can, in this age, that means that we have to focus on creation of things. So, building projects, being creative. So this age would actually, I would say, it inspires more creativity for people in different professions, so that they can actually, add something, and then maybe leave the mundane activities to AI. So, all these things that you do that may be mundane, like chores, you can leave them to the AI, and then you can focus so much well, or so well on your creativity.
Yeah, I love that answer also. Like, we can focus more on building, relationships with our developers as well, or like how we can improve community. So maybe we can hear also with Victor.
Yeah, more or less, I kind of want the whole concept of post scarcity war to come, so I don't have to do anything. I thought that was the whole point of like doing AI stuff. Is like humans don't need to do work anymore. We just consume, and then we don't need to just play all day like kids. Kind of like that, yeah. But you can focus on things that you like to do instead of like things that you have to make money for, right? So yeah. Anyway, if you want to get started, I think easiest is just learn something, right? Right now, you want to get started with just coding, just Python or JavaScript is like the easiest one to get into. So much like resources, you can just dive right in. You can even use AI to teach you how to to do it. And then yeah, just kind of like prior out. I think the easiest the next step should be like come up with some ideas. Don't get stuck into in tutorial hell and just come up with some ideas you like to do and just crank it, right? Buy $20, cursor subscription and just crank it. Figure out how to get it going, and should be able to learn in a couple months. Right? You would have the proficiencies and at least the knowledge to at least get something going on, right? And just focus on things that you need to solve every day, right? Either you are like a developer or like whichever profession you're working on, get AI to do something for you. Right? And then you see like you see the next step that you need to do. Right? Like I'm building some stuff to help me with the DevRel things, processing grants or edge tipping, on-chain tipping, and so on for the community. Right?
Yeah, yeah, agree. I think right now we can see AI agents helping us. Because, for example, if you're a developer relations, if you're handling like thousands of people in the community, you really need some help, right? I think that's where AI agents can help, like especially like answering questions. It's a very helpful thing to have something in. So yeah, I guess if we have audience here who has a question also, maybe you can chat in. But definitely it's a great conversation, talk about like how AI can be now helpful for developers but also on the Polkadot ecosystem. But yeah, if and also on our audience, feel free to chat in. Yeah, I actually learn a lot from you guys. We have a combo of one speaker from DeFi also, and then also another one from focusing on GPUs and like a entire ecosystem, like and it's great to see more on that in Polkadot ecosystem. I think one thing that I would say for all of people here, we have the dot agent kit, or we are opening a bounty. So if in case you wanted to build on top of Polkadot as well, like I think there's a lot of opportunities to build AI agents on Polkadot. I think it's great if we can find more use cases to play around with, and if you have any ideas as well, you can submit it on the bounty program. You can just check it on bounty announcements there, and of course just share your ideas there. Maybe that would be the next project that we can see on AI in Polkadot. Yeah, so if we have any questions from our audience, feel free to type in. Yeah, hopefully there's gonna be a meme coin around Polkadot. I would definitely be excited for it. So I would say, if I were to build like an agent, I would want to see like a yapping, agent on X, sharing about Polkadot, a lot of things, and also an OpenGuild. So, yeah, I think if you have any questions, cool. I think we don't have any questions. So, thank you so much, Becca and Victor, for your time, and definitely for our audience also. It's great to see you guys learning about AI on Polkadot. And hopefully, there's going to be more. Now that we have, Dot Agent Kit is being introduced as well at OpenGuild. Yeah. Yeah.
Great,
I think it's time. Yeah.
great. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys, for this call. Pleasure to meet you guys.
Cool. Yeah. We're excited for Pocket Africa as well. Thank you so much for leading that as well. Yeah. I think it's time for Agent to help us in our, developer life. So, yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for attending, and see you on the next community call as well.